Hey guys, what's up? I'm Manuel.
I'm David. We're from the band Unprocessed, and you're listening to the In Time podcast.
Okay guys, welcome back to another episode of In Time UK. Today we're joined by Manuel and David from the band Unprocessed, two incredible musicians. We're both big fans of the band and the musicians individually as well. This should be a good episode. How are you guys doing?
Who wants to start? I start. I'm good. I just finished with my studio in my flat, and living again my hometown, which is super great. Doing a lot of music, and yeah, great.
Awesome.
Yeah, same here, man. Basically, I just did the last couple of steps for my new home studio too, and yeah, it feels good so far.
Yeah, fair play. I guess let's start from the beginning then. Obviously, Manuel, you've got a pretty big following on Instagram from the guitar clips and stuff. However, when did the band actually first come together, and when did you guys start writing music together as a group?
Well, basically, I had the idea of a metal band back in 2012 because I always played in shitty garage bands. We were like rock covers and shit. Like during school, you all know that. But yeah, I had the idea of a total cool death metal band back then, heavy and fast and technical. And I think me and Christoph are like the founding members, maybe could say, because Christoph was like the third guitarist I asked. And we had like a different drummer, we had a different bassist. Actually, I think we had like 4 or 5 bassists. I don't know. It's weird. But
I'm leading a dangerous life.
Yeah. Very short-lived career by the sounds of it.
Yeah, so now where I'm like in my new flat, I can like fire David, which is super cool. No, just kidding. No, but I don't know. With this lineup, I think the very beginning of Unprocessed, this lineup is 2017, I would say, because 2017 we started to write Covenant, our first record, and then we started touring in the UK and outside from Germany, abroad. I don't know. I would say 2017 is like the main year of the foundation of Unprocessed, basically. Yeah.
But you guys have been releasing records since 2014, right? But
yeah.
So like that was just like, would you consider that still Unprocessed, or would you say that was a completely different style?
I would consider it Unprocessed, but it's weird. I don't know. We always talk about it, and every member has like a different opinion. But I would consider it as a record, but like a demo record.
Yeah. Which
was like my first attempt to produce songs, basically. It's just like, I don't know. It's a demo record, I would say.
It's a nice timestamp to kind of, as a testament to, this is what we were, but this is who we are now. Like your latest records, your 2018 and 19 records. But you guys, if I've got this right, you're sort of like in a town just outside of Frankfurt, right?
Yeah.
That's where you're based.
Yeah.
So like, how was it? Like, I mean, Unprocessed music, definitely. I mean, it's still an understatement, but it's not easy to play that sort of music. How was it, like, finding people that are of that sort of technical level on a local scale, I guess?
Wow.
Also a manual question, but I mean, I guess I speak for you when I say it's pretty hard to actually find the right people who have the, technical ability, but that's not everything. I think even more important than that is to invest oneself into a project like to a very high extent, and to do that like on long terms, not just for like one record or one show. It's a decision that we all made, and now it's just us four, and it's definitely been a long way until that point, because like we all, like our drummer Leon and me, we played in a different band in the same town before we joined Unprocessed. Then we were both backing, like we backed up when like the bassist was missing or the drummer was missing.
Yeah.
So we weren't official members for like a year or something. And then we both joined like in 2017. I guess I joined a bit earlier and helped Manuel with the Covenant record. And when we finished it, we got Leon into the band as well. And yeah, parted ways with our old drummer. And since then, nothing has changed except for we parted ways with our third guitarist like 2 months ago.
Yeah, yeah. So I mean, like David, what was the pressure like just joining? Like, you know, if when you were filling in for Unprocessed, was it like, oh shit, I gotta get even tighter than tight now?
It was funny because like I wasn't actually playing bass that much before that. Like I was a mediocre guitar player, but like Manuel and me were friends, and he kind of saw the potential, and the old bass player was distancing himself more and more from the band, I guess. Like he wasn't that invested, and so Manuel asked me to fill in for a couple of gigs, and I just had like crappy ass €100 bass, played on whatever amp there was at the venue or lended somehow from a friend or something. And you know, I just learned the riffs how they were, like how Manuel taught me them. Like I would try to emulate what he did on guitar and kind of double it, and then bring my own spices, and somehow it went pretty easy, I guess. Like it was super, I always loved the music that Manuel composes, so, and I listened to it before I joined the band, like every day, day in, day out. I always had the demos. I was so into it, so and you know, that paved the way.
I guess from a still sort of looking at it from a local point, the music scene in your area, is it quite predominantly like there's a lot of metal bands, metal artists and musicians around for you to have access to this?
Not really. Basically in Wiesbaden, where our hometown is, there were like more hardcore and melodic hardcore bands, and we like Unprocessed played a couple of times with hardcore bands, and it was always like pretty difficult for us to kind of fit to the music scene in Wiesbaden.
Yeah.
Because I don't know, and even when there were like prog bands, it was like a different thing. It was like more old school prog, and I don't know, we always felt like in the corner, just not in the music scene. But I mean, I don't know. We kind of played local for about maybe 3 years, and then we started to play in bigger cities like Berlin, for example. And I kind of remember the first festival we played in Berlin. It was 2016 or something, and it was the first time where we kind of fit in a lineup, because they brought like the djent or heavier prog 8-string bands from all of it, I think, Germany to Berlin, and they played a festival there, which was like in front of, I don't know, 40, 50 people, but it was all right, you know. So yeah, things were pretty heavy back then, because I don't know, the music scene is not, I don't know, it's not easy for like djent or prog bands.
Yeah, definitely. I guess I mean, this is something myself and Joe both have. We're both musicians as well, where we can be, I guess. Okay. But like, you know, finding bands and artists that suit your genre in your area, especially for touring purposes, or trying to, you know, because you end up helping each other in that way. But it's like the hardest thing ever, especially if you're probably from a small town, and then you got to expand your horizon slowly. But at the same time, you're on this uphill battle where like you're trying to get people to know who Unprocessed are, right? That must have been like,
yeah. I mean, between, that's also maybe the difference between the band that Unprocessed was before the Covenant record, because the music always has been like on a very high quality, at least like composing wise. Maybe the production, the value definitely improved over the years, but like the music always was highly professional, but like everything surrounding that construct that is just art, we really built up like a whole a whole company of people, of friends who are helping us out with like media, with graphics, with video shit, with like everything that we need to work on, with all the marketing. Like we do a lot ourselves, especially right now. We just released a single independently, Wheel, featuring the guys from Polyphia. You've probably heard it.
Yeah.
And like experiences like this really show who is actually invested into the thing, and that's not just like picking up the instrument and like practicing for gigs and then playing them. It's just way more than that if you actually want to be successful. But I don't really feel like that we were held back. We were held back by our hometown, because everything that we did, basically, like our success started online, and now our mission is more like to bring it to real life and to make it show when we play concerts.
Yeah, and I mean, like you mentioned Polyphia, then I mean, those guys are obviously fantastic, just like yourselves. There's this new wave of incredibly talented and technical bands coming through now. Me and Amir both currently study music. I'm in London, he's in Birmingham. Did you guys go to music school when you were younger?
Yeah, we actually we've moved to Mannheim because we both, me and David, we studied music. He's still studying.
I'm still studying.
He's still studying, and I quit. But yeah, we used to go to the same college. But I think it was I think we began 2018 September.
Yeah. Exactly 3 years ago we started studying music. But I think what's interesting is that all four of us had teachers and education in classical music. Like Manuel and Christoph both started with classical acoustic guitar, and I started with classical piano, and Leon started with classical percussion, or at least played it like for a long time, like marimba and vibraphone and all that stuff. So we all come from that area, and definitely like from a young age.
I guess, do you like see benefits of learning classical at a young age, or was it just something that you ended up doing? It's just a coincidence.
Oh, actually, the benefits are huge. I think even that is basically the foundation that we as a band communicate on, because like we are used to complex compositions from a young age, and without that I wouldn't know if I could learn our music so intuitively, because like I think we all are people who learn almost everything by ear. So and that definitely helps. Like we're not theory nerds, but maybe we all know how to interpret a composition kind of, and like and practicing it even if it's complex.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, if you were studying that kind of music at such a young age, but then ended up going into the more, metal side of things, and even, obviously you guys have got some crazy influences from funk and all over the place. Who were the first kind of heavy hitters like in the metal scene that inspired you guys to get into that style of music?
Well, for me it was, I don't know, my dad used to play in a thrash metal band in the 80s, the beginning of 90s. So I don't know.
That's sick.
So I got the metal from him. Super cool. My mom used to listen to metal all the time, and I don't know, I kind of grew up with it. It was like natural. I grew up with bands like Metallica, Pantera, Iron Maiden. Later I found bands like Slipknot and Korn. For me it was like the new thing, even it was like pretty old. But actually I was like this stupid metal elitist kid for a very, very long time. But yeah, I kind of hate myself for that, but it's all right. I mean, I think I started to listen to different music pretty late, maybe like 18 or 19. Back then, I listened to bands like Depeche Mode or Massive Attack, but pop music or like, I don't know, jazz or electronic music, it was like super late for me, everything. And so yeah, I basically was born as a metal guy.
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned Massive Attack. Then I didn't expect that. That's a quite.
Oh, huge influence in soundscape and electronics for Unprocessed, actually.
Oh yeah, definitely. You can hear a lot of these, yeah, you know, dark industrial, maybe pop-ish, but still, you know, grungy attitude, but electronic. That is something that we all love, and that we incorporated in all the albums we did.
I mean, the metal elitist phase is something like, I don't know, I can relate to it definitely. We all go through it at some point. I know you acknowledge that you like sort of grew out of it at quite a young age. What is it, do you think, like it's sort of like a it encompasses everyone at some point, doesn't it? What is it, do you think, about metal that does that to people?
I don't know, maybe it's like music kind of for outsiders. I mean, it was always for me, because I don't know, I was like very lonely with my taste in music. Like even my school classes or something, like there was never someone who listened to the same music as me. But I don't know, I was like, I don't know, I was super dumb and stupid for not looking to the left and to the right, and I always saw like metal in front of me. But I don't know, it's a very good question, but I don't think I have an answer for it.
I think it's the intensity of metal, maybe in combination with what you said, Manuel, about like having nobody that agrees on your music taste. Like that had, at least on me, had the effect of like wanting it even more and like pushing it even more to the extreme. Like I remember, like for me, it came pretty fast that it was going more into that like emo deathcore direction, metalcore and stuff. That was what I was really into, and I was dressed like really extreme, like in school, and like, but I didn't really give a damn about the other kids, because, you know, it was just so strong. I was going home and like listening to Chorus, and then maybe Bring Me the Horizon or bands like that, in back in the days when they were really extreme, but also like had that electronic turn, like 2010 to 13, maybe that time frame. And I think it just hits you so hard, and then you don't want anything else for a second.
Yeah, it's like a drug, isn't it? It's like once you're on it, it's hard to get off it. But I guess it's one of those things. I know what you mean, Manuel, when you're like, oh yeah, you know, you kind of, I don't know if you're saying it like begrudgingly, as if like you regret not listening to other music back then, but I don't think it's a bad thing that, like, because it's
no,
you know,
definitely it's not. Definitely it's not, because it kind of I don't know. I'm the one now who I don't know. It just turned me into the guy who I am now.
Yeah.
So that's cool.
I guess I mean, going through the phases, you know, you've been releasing music since 2014, like with Unprocessed, and then each of the albums sort of has like you can sort of categorize it as an era almost. And then your 2019 record, Artificial Void, is your most mature sound yet, I guess. But a lot of that came as, I mean, what would you say the inspirations were for each of the albums, I'd say?
Well, I think for Covenant it was, I think we could say it was like bands like Periphery, Tesseract, Monuments, and like the djent pioneers.
Yeah.
But especially for Covenant, it was like rage, because I don't know, we were pretty fucking angry as we wrote Covenant, and you kind of can listen because it's super heavy and dark.
And
maybe it was like
push that side of us, like we really to you know, make heavy ass songs and make them also difficult to play. Like we actually sat there and we're like, all right, we're gonna make this really fast and really heavy. That's not really our attitude anymore, at least like in most cases. But you know, it was the time where we had the big member change with like 2 members changing.
Yeah.
Like I was already working on the album with Manuel, and the whole member situation wasn't very clear, and so it was really electrified. And but we knew what we wanted, and you know, yeah, it was.
Yeah, for David, it was like, am I in a band or am I not in a band? Fuck, I'm so angry. And for me, it was like I had like a tough time in private, but I don't know. It's just everyone was so angry.
That's the whole beauty of music, right? It's just capturing the moment.
Yeah, it was, and this is why Covenant is so freaking heavy. And for Artificial Void, it was like, I don't know, I started to listen to a lot more music. Started to listen to a lot more pop music or rock bands, or I don't know. I was like, I think during Artificial Void, I was a big fan of Bring Me the Horizon. I never listened to Bring Me the Horizon before. And I don't know, Polyphia kind of was a big influence on Artificial Void, actually, because I think I was like a new fan of Polyphia because I never really listened to them before 2019, maybe. So yeah, like new influences, new music, and new band members.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah.
Also, I think Artificial Void, all in all, was thought through very rationally by us. Like we intend this, and it has a certain concept, and it's kind of like based on what we did on Covenant, but you know, we just wanted to expand a bit more and try out different things. I think you can really hear that we are trying like different versions also of how our sound could be on Artificial Void, and we were really experimental on it. And funnily enough, like the tracks who we thought were the most experimental are some of the most favorite songs in our fan base, like Ruins and Abandoned.
Oh, so the songs you weren't expecting to like, it was more so for yourself than it was for like
with Abandoned, we shot it on the same date. The music video for Abandoned, we shot it on the same date where we shot the music video for Fear. And initially we thought like, okay, Fear is just like heavy, genty, and it has like a chorus, and this will be the main single. So, and we just, you know, wanted to do a small playthrough of Abandoned before the night came in. So we did that, and it ended up being our biggest hit. And with Ruins, like we wouldn't have vocals for Ruins until, I don't know, maybe 3 months before we had to hand in the album. It was the last track where we did vocals on, and we weren't really sure about what direction the song would be in. And like then Manuel did a couple production details more, and we did the vocals, and it ended up being one of the favorites as well. So that was interesting.
I mean, cool. I guess that's how do you guys feel about that? You know, when if you put so much effort into a song and then that one doesn't get received as well, but then like maybe you put less effort into another song and then suddenly that's the big hit. Does that ever get frustrating?
No, I don't think it gets frustrating. I was like super surprised because I don't know. I was like, nice. Fear comes out. Everyone will love Fear. And I mean, Fear was a big success. It's not like it, but it was like a lot more. And I was like, nice. Why? Maybe it's the riff. Maybe it's the video. Maybe it's both. I don't know. It was like super funny. It was surprising. That's all, I guess. But it's not frustrating. No, I think it's the opposite.
As long as we have, you know, one song that makes a big wave, everything's fine. We just won't be ashamed if no song does that.
Oh, I know what you mean. I guess with I had to actually scroll back to try and find this, but I remember when it came out, Manuel's video back in like October 2018, when you actually played the riff for Abandon well before the album came out, and everyone was like, whoa, what is this riff? Like, you gotta show us, you gotta show the song. And he's like, oh, and then I was just looking at the comments, you're like, oh yeah, you'll see it on the next LP. I was like, oh yeah, they fucking will see it.
Wow, that's super cool, because I don't know, I remember I got like long hair. I looked like very masculine shit. Well, I don't know. I think I didn't start Instagram. It was like, I think it was one of my first videos
Of the first, I
ever
think so
made.
too, man.
Sorry?
I think so too. I think it was one of your first bigger Instagram posts.
Oh yeah, and it was like, actually it was the first riff that I wrote with my green slick guitar. Yeah. In our new flat was the first riff that I wrote in the flat.
I guess, did you ever expect that sort of response from the abandoned riff when was it just like a casual upload? I'm just gonna put this out there and just sort of see what people think? Because that was quite a crazy response.
Yeah, it was, because I don't know. I just thought it was like a cool riff, and that's all. I didn't think it was something special, actually.
I mean, moving forward, like just a few years on, you're like one of the most prominent Instagram guitarists out there. You know, with well over like 200,000 followers. It's pretty crazy.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Did you ever expect that to happen, or was there any long-term plan for that to eventually be the case?
No, I didn't. I did not expect that, actually. I had no structure in my posting schedule or whatever. I just released my videos, and it was like an overnight thing. Apparently, I got like, I don't know, overnight I got like 50K followers, and I didn't know what to do with it because there was so many. And I don't know, felt quite weird. But then I was like, okay, cool. I can use it. I can build an audience. I can build like, I don't know, something for a living and stuff. People listen to me. That's super cool. And I do not take it for granted, though. Super nice.
I guess you've used it for a good, like you've used it in a good way as well. In that, like it's supported and processed in that way. But with the Unprocessed album, going back to the Artificial Void record, a lot of the guests we have on, they usually say they sort of have like 20-30 songs that they've written for the album, but then they narrow it down to the best 10. How's your songwriting process? Do you sort of do that approach where you just write a bunch of songs and then you cut down all the fat until you've got your best 10 songs?
We always have a couple songs that don't make it on the album, that are demos, but we don't make full songs from them, maybe.
Yeah.
We rarely had any really finished songs that we didn't put on the album, right?
We got like songs for Covenant that didn't make it to the record, but I think for Artificial Void, every song we wrote, like, we properly wrote, let's say it like that, it went on the album, I guess. That's right, David?
I don't think we had too much waste, but maybe because, you know, I think on Manuel's desktop PC, there's like at least 20 or 30 unprocessed songs that we didn't make anything with them. They're just
I got a couple of folders with like 40 songs, 40 instrumental and processed songs.
But that was well before Artificial Void. I think Artificial Void was just
way before Covenant.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We had a tight schedule for Artificial Void because we only wanted to wait 1 year until we released the next album. So everything we wrote was intentionally written for the album and maybe even for a certain position on the album. So it wasn't as, you know, demanding to pick songs.
I guess with Artificial Void, the one big change or sort of noticeable change you did was you sort of had this more, both between bass and guitar, it was a lot more like percussive in what you were doing. How did you, I guess from a musician point, and like, you know, everyone that goes around learning their instruments, it's like a whole journey, right? Where you hit these milestones where you're like, sweet, like you do these things that you never thought you'd be aiming to achieve or whatever. At which point was it you started progressing the sort of style of djent in that way, where you've kind of got like this muted percussion and you got the pops going and everything like that?
I don't know, especially that combination literally just happened. It literally just happened. We never sat down and we're like, I mean, when I was coming to the band, I was just looking at Manuel's right hand and I was like, okay, I gotta figure out how to emulate this on bass.
Yeah.
So at first I was really practicing pick playing, and that's what I did for the most part of Covenant. There's a couple slap parts on it, but not too many. And then on Artificial Void, I started to play more with fingers and like with slap and like these percussive right hand sweeps that I do, like with the nails and pops and left hand mutes and that kind of stuff, to like fill out the subdivisions that the guitars are filling as well. But we never sat down and were like, okay, how are we going to do this? Let's try this or that. Just like we tracked the bass and Manuel would like guide me through the song and show me what is intended to play, and I make something out of it, and that's just the result.
So
I mean, I think
guess
it's great. Sorry, go on. I was
yeah,
just going to say.
Yeah. All right, go on, John.
I was just going to say, I think it's great that you've got that kind of relationship, where it really is a team. I'm not sure what Amir was going to say, but I was going to take it towards the fact that you guys have a tune with Tim Henson from Polyphia, and have a collaboration with him. How did that come about? And did you meet him, via the tour that you did?
I met him in Los Angeles as I was at NAMM, Los Angeles. I met him. I mean, we wrote before on Instagram, but never met personally. But to that time, we knew that we were on tour like 1 month later, because I think it was on January.
Yeah.
That we met the first time. In February, the tour began. So, yeah. No, just Instagram.
Oh, fair enough. And you guys played in at the Mill in Birmingham, which is a venue that's pretty close to home for me and Amir. Well, extremely close to home, actually. It's literally do you guys remember much about Birmingham?
Let me think. Can you describe the venue in like 1 sentence?
It was like it's quite like an industrial area, Digbeth. It's in like the custard factory.
Yeah. I remember the area.
I went to that gig, but I missed your set. Like I was so good because I had a rehearsal, and then I just ran straight from rehearsal to the gig.
Birmingham.
I'm actually not quite sure if I remember the gig.
David, I think it was the fucking cold backstage.
Oh yeah. Is it like?
It was quite cold, Dave. That was.
Yeah. Does it have an extra level with like places to stand on top of the venue?
Yeah. You had the upstairs bit. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, that's where the merch is at, right?
That's right.
Yeah. I remember.
Oh yeah, so that was Birmingham. Yeah, it was fucking cold, but it was super nice. It was a nice show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, just around that area, we have the uni that me and Amir attend. You guys are like obviously an incredibly technical band, so all of the guitarists and bass players at BIM, which is the university we go to, are obviously massive fans of the band. So it's really cool that you play the show so close to home.
That's cool, man.
That's so cool to hear.
Yeah. I mean, go on, Amir. What was you going to say?
Well, this is a question back for David, where kind of going back to what you're talking about, like learning the bass parts, keeping up with Manuel and everything. So, like, it sounds like you had a challenge in front of you, right? As a probably normally you're a guitarist, but then you picked up the bass and then you've been pushing yourself through, as a part of Unprocessed now. Was this like a challenge you welcomed, or was this a challenge you were like, oh shit, I don't know how I'm gonna, like, was it something that you sort of enjoyed facing, or was it like quite a bit of stress or whatever?
I enjoyed it big time, and I still enjoy it. There was never any point where I thought, like, there's definitely moments where I'm wondering how I'm gonna accompany certain songs, because like on the first listen, especially the first couple songs I needed to learn were more difficult than they are now, because as complex as our music might sound on the outside, when you are unprocessed, you kind of know like the shapes and patterns that will eventually repeat, but always in a different form. But you know, there's like certain vocabulary that we use. So that really helps. And for me as a challenge, like there was never any doubt that I could do it at the end of the day from my side. And I enjoyed it, like just like to learn it, and then also like to play it in front of people and play with the band. That's something that it feels like we're just born to do that, and we never really question it. So yeah.
No, that's pretty cool. Go on, Joe.
Yeah, I was just going to say, I mean, that's fair enough. Obviously, I guess it was probably pretty hard at first, but it probably got easier over time. I want to move forward into something a little bit different. Before I got into the band, I had no idea how the vocals worked for Unprocessed. I didn't realize that you were a singer, Manuel. So that was a pretty unreal discovery. You know, when I saw the first music video, I couldn't quite believe it. How long have you sung for, and has it always been a passion of yours?
No. Actually, we just said that, I think it was like 2013, and we searched for vocalists maybe 2 years something. As we started like as a death metal band, we got like a shout. After that, we got like a few auditions, but yeah, I don't know. We just all said, okay, I should do it because because it's easy. Because we don't want to play gigs, and we don't want to search for a vocalist. So I started really shitty, actually. My shouts or screams, they were like super bad, and I don't know, my cleans were okay because I sang before in the bathroom or like in the choir for church and shit. I don't know, but I don't know. I really started to be very, very passionate about it, and actually after Covenant or before Covenant, I was like, I cannot do this shit anymore. We have to find a vocalist.
Yeah, we had another discussion about it in 2017 when you already were a singer of the band for the first 2 records, and we discussed it again and again, and we couldn't really think of anyone who could do it. And I personally was always a big fan of Manuel's voice, and it's kind of like, you know, the typical like prog metal gent singer would have like a really high voice typically, and like smash the vocals against the wall of instruments to fly on top of it, you know. And we kind of like had to figure out the best approach to put Manuel's voice, which is rather like a dark, mysterious kind of voice, into the right context. And so I think what maybe makes him and all of us enjoy that vocal aspect even more now is that we kind of like, we're trying to give that more space in the song arrangements, so he can really sing in the nice areas, like where he sings naturally. And maybe before writing Covenant, we felt like we would need a singer that would have a chance against that really aggressive record. But I'm still stoked on how that turned on. Super happy that we did.
Yeah, absolutely. He's
another vocalist.
Yeah, you're totally right. And now, like, I don't know, I sing every day, and I sing like pop and R&B now, and I don't know, it's like a second passion, and I do it as I do guitar now. It's just, I don't know, it's natural now, which is super cool. And I think there will never be a point where I doubt myself or something. It's just feel natural, and I love to do it.
Yeah.
I guess with that, like, I mean, it's something I can relate to completely. You know, you're saying like, oh, we need to find another singer. And like, I mean, I don't know if you found this with like that, like standalone singers, but it's just, they're just mad unreliable, especially for practices. And and like, that's the thing. Like, I sort of ended up, I had that reckoning like late last year. I was just like, well, if I just learn to sing myself, then I don't really have to worry about that part of it anymore. And it's just like, yeah, I've got the toolbox there. But I guess, I mean, and you said you started singing more like R&B pop songs. Is this like, are you hinting at like a potential YouTube career of just doing pop and R&B vocal covers?
I mean, actually, I just did like the first vocal video, I think last week.
Oh, did you? Oh, shit.
Yeah, I did.
Oh.
And if like the most followers I have, they were like super surprised about it because I don't know. Unfortunately, there are a lot who don't know Unprocessed, and they are unfortunately a lot who know Unprocessed, but they don't know that I sing.
Oh yeah.
So we kind of have to communicate it more, but I think now we got like we are on a good page. I think we communicated well, and I slowly start to combine the vocal thing with my guitar thing, and I think the feedback was pretty good and the reception was pretty good, and I should do it more often now. Yeah.
What do you make of vocals in Unprocessed? Did you feel like it was always something that needed to happen? Because I mean the level of technicality and the melody you drive just with the instruments themselves, if to some regards they could still be instrumental records as well, right?
We get that a lot, and actually I think we all enjoy listening to the instrumentals as they are in the process of making the full songs. But then again, like adding that layer of information that just like I feel like the human voice is still it's maybe the sickest instrument people think of.
Yeah.
And there's just so much to do with it, and like on the earlier records we experimented with all the gutural stuff. We don't do it as often now, but there's so many different aspects to it, and also like adding lyrics to the songs is something that's important for us, and we want to do like proper songs. And I think as an instrumental band, maybe there would be some kind of ceiling that we would hit after a certain time, because the crowds for instrumental bands are like, if you're not Polyphia or not Animals as Leaders, you're gonna have a hard time like sticking through, and maybe that area of music that is so focused on the technicality isn't something we will be able to be as attached forever, because it's just so focused on the rare technicality of the music, whereas we want to like really create meaningful art.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that you can't do that instrumentally. You can absolutely do that instrumentally, but we just like to make use of the tools that we have.
Yeah, well, sorry, go on.
Sorry. And the thing is, like, you cannot really push boundaries with like just instrumental music. You cannot be on a sick Spotify playlist when you are like instrumental, like New Music Friday, or like I don't know. So this is always like, this is for me like very important, because I always want to do something different. And when we are like an instrumental band, or when I play in an instrumental band, you always have like, you can push it to a point, but after that you cannot push the boundaries. And I don't know, it's just, I think instrumental bands that, I don't know, I think it's like, it's just super hard for being like an instrumental band.
I mean, I think it just, it allows it adds another layer of like another level of relatability as well to the band. It allows you to connect to the fans even more. I mean, you can tell a story with instrumental music 100%, but even more so with lyrics. So I guess it's just another way to creatively, express yourselves.
Yeah. Also, maybe most of the bands that are really like the big favorite bands up there that we maybe listened to before we even got into djent, they all have like singers. So that's something that I associate like with being in a band, and like my vision of me being in a band, like that there are vocals. And I think that's for all of us, even though we love some instrumental music obviously, and it influences a lot.
No, I think that's it makes a lot of sense. I think, and it's definitely something that's been well thought out in terms of Unprocessed as a direction. I guess Unprocessed in terms of the directions you've been taking more recently. in the past, I think it's 2-3 months, right? You guys have parted ways with your guitarist Chris Tolosi.
Yeah.
And has he? I think he's been with your band for a good few years, right? About 4 or 5 years.
Yeah, Tolosi joined 2015. Actually, I was on a festival in Wiesbaden, and I knew him before because he was playing in a deathcore band.
Right.
And he was like one of our bassist's best friends, I guess. And I asked him if he wanted to join Unprocessed, and everyone like they were agreeing about that, and so we joined September 2015. Yeah, it's quite a long time he was in the band.
Oh, so it's like 5 years ago now. Exactly. Yeah. I guess with I mean, technically he hasn't really left, has he? He's now part of your video team or your.
He's a vital part of our team, and
yeah.
I mean, what was really showing with the time that like his interests are tending more towards the media side of things, and he's working with an event company, which is like normally without coronavirus a very time-consuming thing. So unfortunately, he wasn't able to like join us on all the tours that we did, and looking into the foreseeable future from the perspective of the March or February 2020 Unprocessed, we thought we were gonna be on tour ever. So we kind of like, and then like the first leg of the Polyphia tour in the UK, it was only the 4 of us, so without Tolosi, and then the second leg of the tour was with him. So we kind of noticed that with the time everything has changed so much, and he was absent so many times that it just felt right to like make a clear cut to maybe make it easier for the people also to understand what Unprocessed is, and also maybe for us to understand what it really is, and also for him maybe to really focus on the things that he will be able to focus on a long term. And he's like, I'm on the phone with him every day, and like we're working together on so many projects, and he has done, for example, the making of the video for Real, which he did a sick job on, and he's just like, he knows how we want to be represented better than anyone else could, because he was part of the band. So if we take him to like do content for us, we know that he will do a better job than anyone else could.
No, I think that's and it's really cool to like sort of hear that you guys, it's a very mutual agreement, and he's, you've still got a really good relationship with him. I guess I mean, coming towards the end of this episode, you guys, like in terms of playing live, are you planning on having a second guitarist there, or is it just going to be the 4 of you now?
On guitar, Manuel guitar and vocals, and I will play the bass and some synths. And also you can expect some experiments, like in terms of we're going to incorporate like electronic stuff more and more into the show, but we won't have another member. It will be just the 4 of us, and there won't be any overcomposed backing tracks with a lot of guitar layers on it or whatever. So yeah, it's got to be, the new music also has got to be more focused on fewer guitar tracks, so that will be all fine.
Awesome. Thank you for joining us today. It's been really good to chat to you both.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks for having us, guys.
Nice
one. Yeah, it's been our pleasure. I guess, guys, we'll call it a day for today's episode then. Thank you all for watching. Subscribe to us, and obviously follow the guys on Instagram and check them out on Spotify. And yeah, we'll see you soon, guys.